Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ask the Expert. And with us today, we have an expert in the legal field, my friend, Mr. Jonathan Gerard.
Hey everyone.
He's practicing in KL in a legal firm, and he's actually focusing on the area of intellectual property, which will be our topic of discussion for today. What is intellectual property and what is its practice like in Malaysia?
Right. So, intellectual property. I think all of us are familiar with property in a normal sense. Any business, individual or company would have fixed assets, cars and buildings. But intellectual property basically refers to something you can create in a creative sense to identify with your business. For example, trademark is a logo. For example, tied to your brand name to help you tie into your business. Whereas a copyright can refer to things that you create, creative things, graphic designs and promotional material even can become copyright.
Would that be videos and music as well?
Videos and music, even things like software, software companies, what they design, the programs can be subject to copyright as well. And then we have another area which is patents or utility innovations. Those are basically inventions.
Well, I guess the next question would be, what is the difference between the three intellectual properties that you just listed out for us? Our viewers would definitely like to know.
Right, so to keep things simple, let's take the one that probably most people be familiar with, which is trademarks. But trademarks are often confused with copyright. So what's the difference? So trademarks, the purpose of trademarks is to basically put up a sign to the public or even your business partners, suppliers and so on. When they see that sign, when they see that mark, they know it's you. They know it's connected to your business basically. So a trademark is a business identifier, and it can be quite creative, things like Nike, Adidas. You see the tick, that symbol, instantly it refers to a particular business and a particular products being sold. Copyright is a bit different. Copyright, the purpose is more to protect creative things that you make basically. So anything like a flyer, a promotional brochure, when you put designs on it, if you put in sufficient effort into it, it can be protected by copyright. And then there's what we call patents. So patents and their cousin utility innovations basically are inventions. That one I think speaks for itself. And other than the three, there are others as well. One that's coming up is also industrial designs. Yes, basically you've created a design that is also worth of protection as well.
So how do we go about protecting these intellectual property rights of ours?
Right, so it depends on the particular intellectual property, the ones that we set out earlier. So let's take a few simple examples. So trademarks, basically you go for registration. You register it with MIPO, my IPO, you can Google that. It's the body in Malaysia that handles registrations. So trademarks, they can take, they're not too long. I think the entire process, give or take maybe a couple years or even less actually. I think nowadays MIPO is trying to speed things up a bit.
Oh, I see.
Yes, but compare that with...
How long is the protection for trademarks?
Protection for is about 10 years. And I think I mentioned copyrights earlier as well. So copyrights is a bit different. It doesn't have such a formal strict registration for protection type of process. Basically copyrights, as soon as they are recorded in some form or another, they're already subject to copyright protection, although there is advantage to submitting and notifying MIPO perhaps.
Even our video is copyright protected?
Yeah, so even our video will be copyright protected. So many things can be copyright protected, even software, programs, computer software and programs can be subject to
movies, music,
writing, anything you reduce into writing as well would be subject to copyright protection.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in closing, what is the current situation of the IP registration in Malaysia to the best of your knowledge, and do you have any words of advice for our viewers?
Right. So, I think a lot of people in Malaysia are waking up to the idea of intellectual property in terms of registration. Gone are the days where counterfeits can just go on without any consequence. And I think the more and more people become aware that they can register their rights, that would be an improvement for the industries as a whole. So more people are realizing that. But I think on the converse side, every business person also needs to wake up to the fact that we're living in an IP world. I don't see how it's possible for a business to not at least be aware of what copyright and trademark at the very least are, because every business needs marketing, promotion, and the last thing you want to do is wake up one day and be in the middle of a lawsuit, which takes so much time and money. The impact on the business can be very substantial from a very simple mistake. Sometimes, for example, you're trying to create your own logo, you're trying to design something for your flyer, maybe you pick something off Google and modified it slightly, unaware that it may not be different enough, and you may have a lawyer's letter coming on your door in the next week. So I think people just need to be aware that it exists, both for registration and to defend, to protect yourself from being sued for copying. I think that's very important.
Okay. Well, that's all we have for this week, and we thank you, Mr. Jonathan, for your time.
All right. Yep. Good to see y'all. Okay.